Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you guys how to cut and sew a free short. If that is why you're here, make sure you stick to the end. Let's get started. So this is my fabric. I'm working with an Adire fabric, sorry, and I'll be working with 1 yard. Okay, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. So I'll be starting with the front, and I'll go ahead to just mark half an inch as my starting line. Alright. So after reeling that, I'll be working with 2 inches as my waistband. Okay, we're using 2 inches elastic, so it's going to be our waistband. All right, so I'm going to be minusing the 2 inches for the waistband or for the elastic, and then I'll mark my other measurement. For us to get our crotch line, your hip divided by 4. If you're working on a corporate, you use your hip divided by 4. But if you're working for something like this, which is free and big, all right, you don't want it tight, you want it to be as free as possible. So you're going to be adding at least 2 inches, depending on how free you want it. So I added additional 2 inches to mine, which is 12. Now I also went ahead to mark my short length, which I'll be working with at 17, and then I added extra 2 inches as my folding allowance. All right, so that is what we have here in total. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my hip measurement. So before then, I'll try to label this so we don't get confused. The one I marked first was the crotch line, the last one was the short length, and the up one is the waistline. So for on the crotch line, I'm going to be dividing my hips by 4, and now it depends on how much big or how free you want your short to be. Okay, you can start to add from 2 to as many as you want. Okay, so in as much as I want it to be big, I don't want it to be too big. So if you want yours to be like mine, just follow what I did. So what I did is my hip divided by 4, which is 40, divided by 410, and then I added additional 4 inches. Okay, so in total I have 14 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that same 14 inches on the waistline to create a straight line like so. And after doing that, I'll just quickly extend that crotch line to the end of the fabric, as you'll see me doing. Okay, so the next thing I'll be doing now is to determine my crotch extension. Now you can determine your crotch extensions in different ways, but one of the methods I'll be working with is dividing your hip measurement. For the front, we are working with the front actually. So your hip divided by 20. Okay, so if your hip divided by 20, you can add maybe additional half, or you get, but for me I just wanted it to be 2.5. Do you get? So if you're using that your hip divided by 20, I would advise you add maybe like half an inch, okay, to the extension. Let it be free. Okay, remember that this short is not supposed to be fitted. You're not, nowhere is tight on you, so you want it to be as free as possible, and you want to be comfortable in it. So you can make your crotch extension, you can add additional half inch to your measurement, all right, or 0.75. So having done that, this is what we have. I went ahead to create my curve from that line. I came up by 2, and then I formed like an arc by 1 inch, and then just to create the curve. There is nothing serious. You can use your curve ruler to do that. Now I went in by 1 inch just to create a little bit slat on that end of the short, like you see me doing. And after doing that, on the waist here, I went in by 0.5 inches. Why we are doing that is because we want that place to sit well on you. Remember, your body is not straight, so it has to sit well, so your shirt doesn't have foldings and all of that on the crotch line. So now it's left for you to determine how wide you want your waist to be. Remember, it's a free short, and we're obviously adding elastic band to it. So if you don't mind, you can leave the side the way it is, but for me I wanted to have a little bit of shape. So from the side I came in by 1 inch, and then I'll just indicate or get where my hip measurement is supposed to be. Okay, so that 1 inch is going to stop directly on the hip line. All right, so it's not going to the crotch extension. All right. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now after doing that, on the edge as well, because I want my shirt to have a little bit of fitting, let's just not just to be too free and just everywhere. Just we want to make yours to look really nice. So I came in there by about half an inch, I'll be 1 inch. So you can do half inch, 0.75, and all of that depends on what you want. But if you want it to be extremely big, then don't touch this part. Okay, So this is what we have so far for the front. Then the last thing I'm going to be doing is from the waistline I will come down by 1 inch. Why we are doing this thing is so that our short will sit well. Okay, remember the short, even when you're doing a skirt pattern, you also have to come down there by 1 inch just for it to sit well on your waist. So that's what we are doing right now. I'm just going to curve or connect, and that's just it for the front. We will go ahead and cut out our pattern. Then remember we already added half an inch allowance on the up, that's on the waist. So I'll go ahead and replace those half inch around those parts that we minused 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut. And if you're here to subscribe to the channel or like this video, please go ahead and do so. Please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and dropping a comment. If you have any question, just ask in the comment section, and I'm always here to reply. So now over to the back, I went ahead to get my fabric that is enough for the back. As you are seeing, is on fold. Okay, so I'm just going to trim off the length of the short first, then we'll work with the other sides. All right, so now I'll just go ahead to extend my crouch line to the back, as you're seeing me do, so that we know what we are working with. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be doing now is on the crouch line, we are going to get our crouch extension as well. I think the front we used about 2.5. So for this back, I don't have enough fabric, so I just used 3 inches gogo. All right, you can try to use more than that, but if you see the way it is on me, I don't know, maybe I'll post a video of how it looks on me. But if you like the fitting on me, then just follow what I did, and you're going to get exactly what you're seeing or what you see. Okay, so around that hip line or that curve side from the front, I came in by 2 inches, and on the waist I came in by, sorry, I came out rather, not in, I went out by 1.5 on the waist side, while around the crouch line side I went out by 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to use my ruler first to connect as a straight line, then I'll use my hand to create my curve. One thing you need to understand is your back crouch curve doesn't need to be deep. It doesn't even need any type of depth. Even this my own self looks like it's a bit deep, because if it's deep it might end up entering inside your buttocks, and trust me, you don't want that. Okay, so I went ahead to extend that line up, and I will come up by 1.5 from the waistline. Okay, I came up by 1.5, and I'll connect that directly to the waistline to the end or to the side, like so. So just go ahead and do that, and we are basically done. Okay, so that's it, nothing serious. Okay, see how simple it is, very simple. Yeah, I know. So I'll just go ahead and cut off and all of that. So if today is your first time coming across this channel, don't forget to engage, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment section. If you have a request or any tutorial you want us to do, just let me know in the comment section, and I will try my best to do so. So now after cutting this, I went ahead to cut the pockets facing, or the pockets, we'll be creating our pockets. Okay, so I have two of this fabrics here, and this is 16 by about 9 inches. I've done a tutorial on how to sew your pocket, so if you don't know how to do that, please go to my channel and check it, or check the link that is showing on the screen, because I won't be showing a process of how I did that. And this is for my waistband. Okay, I cut two of it to join it, and this is also for the robe I'll be using, or I'll be attaching on the short. Okay, so this is my elastic band. Please pardon the fact that I'm using two elastic band. That's what I can, well, that's what I can touch or get my hands to right now. So we're going to start. Okay, before we start joining, I'll go ahead and create my pockets. My pockets. Should I say pocket hole? I don't know. I'll go ahead to form my pockets. Okay, so I came in by 2 inches, and I came down by 7.5. Reason for 7.5 is because there is already half an inch up there for sewing, so I have to include that. But normally it should be 7 inches with that your allowance. Okay, so after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut it out, and I will place this short on the pocket facing that I already cut, and then I'll just retrace it. Like I said earlier, if you don't know how to sew a pocket, I am not explaining this particular part, please check our channel. We have the video on how to make a how to make a pocket, so you understand better. It is a very detailed tutorial, and it's the best tutorial the best process or the best ways to sew your pocket, so that you don't have a lot of seams showing off, and then you have to start weaving a lot of things, and then your pocket will end up looking rough. You don't want that. You want something that is done neatly, right? So that's your reason to go and watch that tutorial. So now remember, what we cut was 2 inches, so you have to make sure that your 2 inches is what is also on the fabric. Please don't come and ask me you don't understand how I did this pocket. Like I said, go to the channel and watch the tutorial. I'm sorry, Kimbo. Please just go and watch it. So I'll just go ahead and retrace this part. Okay, we are going to retrace that out, and that is it. So after doing the retracing, we are now going to go ahead and start joining our short. So the I'll join the front and the back. I'll go ahead and join the front together first. While I'm doing this, so we don't get confused or our pieces will start missing, because you know this adjoint doesn't have front and back. So you don't want to be confused doing this whole thing. So we'll go ahead and close the front crouch. We'll also fix the pocket for the front, and then for the back as well, we'll go ahead to also sew the crouch for the back, and then I will bring it back and show you guys. So go ahead and sew the crouch for the front and the back, and I will fix the pocket for the front. So I've gone ahead to do that. I've gone ahead to sew my crouch for the front, and I also fixed my pocket. You can see how neat this pocket looks. I didn't even iron this thing, but you can see how neat. You cannot see it anywhere. You can see how beautiful it looks, right? I know. If you want to know how to do it, please go rush to the channel and watch that tutorial. You will really love it. And this is the back as well. I also did the crouch extension by 1/2 inch, as you can see. So we are going to go ahead and join our front to the back. I will join by the sides by 1 inch. You can join by 1/2 inch, depends on what you want, but for me I want it to be that, because why not? So after doing that, you can go ahead and join the crouch side as well as the down also, and I will show you guys what I have done. So I've gone ahead to do those joining, as you can see, and yes, this is what we have so far. Now we are trying to get our waistband, so we want to fix our waistband. So I'll go ahead and measure what I have round on the waist, and what I have is about 47.5. so this is my fabric. You make sure that your fabric is exactly the same measurement with your trouser waist. Okay, so for me now it's not enough, so I'll have to go and join some fabric to this waistband, so it will be up to 47.5. so that's what I will do. Remember that our waistband is 2 inches, but this is about 2.5 or so, because by the time you join it or fold it, you need more allowance. I think it's up to like 3 inches on fold. Okay, so now I've gone ahead to join one side of the fabric, like to make it longer, and I'll just go ahead and close it, making sure that my waistband is 47.5, exactly what you have on the short waist. Now for your waistband, for you to determine your waistband, what you need to do is your waist circumference minus 6 or 7 inches, depends on you. If you want it to be too tight or too loose, just depends on you. Okay, but that's the standard and is always perfect. Okay, so I went ahead just add small, like 1/2 inch, just to top stitch, because we have to stitch it together. So after cutting that, I went ahead to use my machine to run over it to top stitch it, so that it is very strong and firm. And you can see, you make sure you test run. You test run, so you're sure that your elastic band is safe and secured. Okay, so this is now our waist, what's it called, the waistband, the fabric. So we have to create our waistband with the elastic band. Okay, so I touched, what's that grammar? I pushed my elastic band inside, in between the fabric. Mind you, my elastic band is about 1.75 or 2 inches. It's very, very close to 2 inches, so you can assume it's 2 inches. So what I did was to put my elastic band in between the fabric. Make sure it's the right side, so you're putting it in between the fabric, inside the wrong side. Does it make sense? I hope so. So you're going to sew closely to the waistband, but not on top of the waistband at this point. Okay, so that's why I had to zoom this, so you understand. You can use your hand to press it, and it's going to indicate where the elastic band ends. It's going to indicate where the elastic band ends. So you're just going to sew closely around So you're going to make sure you're very careful and gentle with this, so you don't top stitch or you don't stitch on the waistband, because if you do, you won't be able to drag the waistband. So as you sew, you drag your elastic and continue sewing. So you're trying to make sure the fabric gathers while your elastic band is still dragging out. Okay, so what we're trying to do here now is dragging our elastic band, and the fabric is like creating like gathers, as you can see me do. So if this is your first time seeing this girl or you're trying it, just be careful with it. You will definitely get it, just take your time. So after doing this is what we have so far. You're not going to use your hand to stretch this out so that this gathers is going to be even. Okay, so that this shape or this form it has given to the waistband is going to be distributed evenly. Okay, and after doing that, this is what we have so far. Now we are going to do a top stitch on this waistband, and the first top stitch I'll be coming in by half an inch. If your elastic band is wider than this, you can do up to 0.75. okay, but for me, I'll be working with just half an inch. So the same way we did for the front, you're going to sew. You see how I dragged before I sew? So you're dragging it and then you're sewing. So you want to make sure you drag. Don't drag the fabric and push it backward. Drag and maintain where you are, so that will help you to create that form. So what we're trying to do is more like stitching on top and then making sure that the shape or those gathers we have on the elastic band is maintained at that particular spot, but is top stitched so it cannot move again. You understand? So if you move it from there to another side, the only thing it's going to do is just to push those gathers to one side, and it will not look good at all. So do it small small, don't drag too far, just small, and take your time. Okay, so always make sure that your needle is down before you drag. Okay, so take your time, and after doing that, we're going to do the next top stitch, which is the second one. Okay, so the next top stitch we are going to be doing is we are going to measure about 0.75 from the first stitch. Okay, you can do up also half inch, you can do 1 inch if you have enough elastic band. So for me, I'm using 0.75. The same thing we did for the first one, that is the same thing we're going to be doing for this one as well. So this one will be easier for you because the first one has already held the elastic band. Okay, so just go ahead and do the same process. Make sure that your hand is straight so that your elastic band will not come out looking funny or looking dirty. So after doing that, this is what we have so far. You can see what our elastic band looks like. Now I'm going to try and stretch it out a little. Okay, you can see. So now I'm going to try to get points on this elastic band. So I'll fold like so. As it's folded like this, I will notch the two ends. Okay, remember on the short we have about 4 ends, the two side, the crouch for the front and the back, so that's like 4 points. So I'm trying to get that 4 points on this elastic band, so it's easy for us to sew and maintain the shape of the short. So after doing this, I'm going to also face the parts that I knot together, and I will notch the other side. So in total now we have 4 notched edge, which is going to be matching up with um the 4 edges on the short as well. Does it make sense? I hope so. So after doing this, make sure that you're careful and patient, and make sure that it is as accurate as possible. So this is what we have, and you're going to determine where you want to be, as your front, as your back. So it depends on you. Anywhere you want to use is your choice. So now this is my short. We are going to go ahead and start imputing or start sewing our waistband to the short. So remember that I said the short has 4 points, so I'm just pointing it out for you. So I'm going to get my elastic band, and I'll take the part I want to be the back, and like the part I want to be on the back. Remember I had about 2 stitched points, so I want those points to be at the back. You don't want that to be on the front, right? So I'm going to just look for it and then position it to the back, and I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. Remember the way we sew the elastic band to the waist. You're going to also drag. It is very important. If you don't drag, your elastic might not be able to enter finish, or the fabric, you might have excess fabric left for you to drag or put on the elastic. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sew right now. So I'm just trying to confirm where the parts I'm using, which is the front and the back. You want to take your time to make sure that you're using the part that you really like, because trust me, after sewing this thing, there are some parts that will not really look that nice. You get, so like the parts now that the thread, like on the under parts, now you might not want that to be the front. So that's what it is. So you can see what I'm doing now. You're going to be sewing on top of the elastic band at this point, all right? So you're sewing very close to the first stitch, but on top the elastic band. So you see, once you place, you will drag your band and sew. You will drag your band and sew. Make sure that your needle is down before you drag again. If not, it's going to shift your stitch. Now remember the first notch, sorry, the second notch, because we already matched up with the first notch, which is the center one. So the second one now is matching the side of the back. Remember, we started from the back. Okay, so you're seeing what we have now. You're going to stretch out this part, so that part, that elastic section is going to enter the section for the shorts. So you have to drag it enough for it, for all the fabrics on that edge or that part to accommodate or to enter the elastic band finish. I just hope this is as clear as possible. Then I also went ahead to match up the next notched edge, and we'll still go ahead and sew. You have to take your time when you're doing this. You don't have to rush or be impatient. So after doing that, this is what I have. I'll just go ahead and turn it to the front so you see what I have so far. So you can see how beautiful this is looking, right? I know it's looking nice. I won't even lie, it's looking nice and pretty. So we are going to get our rope, and would we're going to be attaching our rope right now. So I want to indicate the point I'll be putting the rope. Make sure that you take note of the center of the front, which is where the crowd joining is. So on that crowd joining, I just went out by like half inch on both sides to create, I use my seam ripper to just create an opening. That's where our opening, that's where our rope is going to pass through, right? So this is what we have, and I'm going to go ahead and sew my rope, and then we'll attach it. So this is my rope. I'll use my safety pin to pull it in, and then I'm going to pass it through the elastic band. When you're doing this, you need to be as patient, as careful, as patient as possible, and as careful as possible, because it takes a little bit of time, but trust me, you will definitely still do it. So just go ahead and push in your safety pin that has your rope, and then drag it. Just as you're pushing, you're dragging out, push and drag out, and that's what you're just going to do till you get to the end, or to the end of the waist. So after doing that, this is what we have, and you can see how my shirt is looking really cute and nice. I love it. So I'll go ahead and hem the down. Remember, the allowance to give was just 2 inches, so I hemmed it, and this is what my shirt looks like. Thank you so much for watching to this point. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment section. Bye.